There is just something about my guest today that exudes warmth, exudes acceptance, just someone whose entire presence just makes you feel right at home. And that is my guest today, Aimmee Kodachian. She truly has a miraculous and remarkable story of transformation, and certain obstacles that she's overcome in her life have brought her to the place and the space she is now. This is definitely an interview that you don't want to miss, and you're going to want to share it with as many people as you know. So it is my honor today to have Aimmee Kodachian on the Power Transformation Podcast. Stay tuned to be uplifted, inspired, and ready to make a change even in your own community through what Aimmee has to share. Hey, y'all. Welcome back. I am back in full swing. And I am so grateful that you are here. And I say that because for those of you that may be new to the podcast, for the last few weeks, my family and I have been going through something with my father in terms of a health challenge. So I did a couple of solo episodes when I was assisting my father and mom, and my life was a whirlwind for the last few weeks, but my daddy is recovering. He's getting home health care and physical therapy and occupational therapy. They removed all of the cancer from his kidney. They had to take out his left kidney, and he is on the up and up. But I thank you for all of your concern, all of your support, all of your love and prayers and well wishes for my family. And so I am back. We are going to have an affirmation at the beginning and ending. A lot of things are happening with the podcast, some major announcements to come in the weeks to come. And we are in July, y'all. Over half of 2024 is over. Can you believe it? And the guest I have today is absolutely incredible. I want to jump right into her podcast episode. But hey, if you are not following the Power Transformation Podcast, I invite you to do so. Subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star rating, and write a review. I welcome you to please write a review. Give me feedback, constructive feedback. I am always open to. And I just thank you for the support and keeping this as one of the top ranked podcasts globally out there, still in the top 5%. The next goal is the top 2.5%, then the top 2%, and eventually the top 1%. And I am believing it will happen. And it's so that people's stories and voices can get out there. And the story we have today is absolutely amazing. This guest is the absolute best, and I want to go ahead and jump into it. So I start with an affirmation. I say the affirmation once, and then you repeat it. I am confident in my beliefs, courageous in my actions, and brave in my heart. I am absolutely thrilled today to have such a remarkable guest on the Power Transformation Podcast today, and that is none other than Aimmee Kodachian. Aimmee has done so much in her life, including but not limited to the fact she's a 2-time Global Award winner. She has a platform empowering humanity, which has won numerous awards, and she offers a wealth of resources that will uplift and empower others. She has been appointed a Global Woman Peace Ambassador. She was nominated for an honorary doctorate in humanitarianism. She is a survivor and a thriver through her faith and courage and experiences. And she is one of the sweetest, kindest spirits I have ever met. So, welcome to the Power Transformation Podcast, Aimmee. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. That was great introduction. You gave me more than I deserve.
Oh, no, you
I
definitely.
appreciate you. I appreciate your sweet kindness spirit. I really
Oh,
do.
thank you. And you are deserving of all of it because Aimmee has a remarkable story. And I am so glad that we've connected and that she's able to share a portion of her journey with us. But before we get into the heart of that, I always like to start this podcast with just an icebreaker, a fun icebreaker question, something lighthearted. But Aimmee, this is the question for you. Aimmee, if you could have any dream job outside of what you are doing now, but any dream career or dream job, what would it be and why?
Oh my God. Because I'm living my dream. So I don't know if I can beat that question. I can't. And honestly, I can't because
Oh.
this is my dream. I live my, in my every being, especially now. It took me years to open up and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
accept that I have a responsibility. I need to step in it, and I just didn't understand it. I knew it, but I didn't want to step in it. I thought it's going to be too huge, too big, too much. I Who am I,
Mm.
and all this stuff to live that dream or live that purpose and deliver. Who am I,
Mm.
and yet God, the divine, just talked to me and said, you know what? I am going to give you awards
Yes.
before you even reach your ultimate goal
Mm-hmm.
of helping and being the voice for the God's children around
Yes.
the world who's suffering through war. Doesn't matter which war it is, doesn't matter who's fighting who. Just just speak for my children, just
Yes.
talk about my children, that they're innocent, they have the spirit that he bestowed on us, and we need to nurture it. And it's your responsibility. You survived the war, you survived all this for a reason. And
Yes,
he kept
indeed.
telling me that you have a purpose to do, to deliver. And I could say this. I thought I was a happy person, even though I went through, probably you could say, hell and came back.
Mm-hmm.
Like many
Mm-hmm.
people went through life tragedies and war and all that comes with it. I thought I was a happy person, but honestly, I was not until I listened to the divine and I followed what I'm supposed to be doing,
Oh, I love that.
even though saying, who am I?
Yes. And I love that. And I think that's the perfect answer because
Mm-hmm.
it opens up a door for us to really delve deeper into your story and your journey and to say that you're living your dream. Oh, what a gift that is. And so I
Yeah.
appreciate your honesty with that in saying that, wow, I'm living my dream. And before we dig deeper, because you brought up war and all of that, and we are going to get more into that, but just say generally and keep this answer brief because I want you to elaborate on more. But if a person
Mhm.
were to ask you who you are, how would you describe yourself?
I am love.
Oh.
I am giving. I am living because I know how to give,
Mm.
because giving is living.
Yes.
And that's one of my quotes. Um, I am I am light to, like all of us, we all are light, but I found my light. And when you discover that, you just feel so good about yourself. That's who
Mm.
I am. I'm love.
Wow. And that love has brought you a mighty long way. And so let's take it back some because this is where we get into this powerful transformation that has made you who you are today, where there is such a divine purpose and calling on your life. So take us back, Aimmee, from your journey from Lebanon to the United States is truly remarkable. So, share with us what inspired you, what motivated you to keep going despite the numerous obstacles you faced.
Wow. How long do we have? Um, I don't know if motivated me. I know that was guiding me
Mm,
more than was motivating me. Something, something so powerful more than I can ever imagine that was guiding me throughout all these obstacles and challenges that brought me to United States, which is unbelievable to me.
mhm,
Sometimes I have to pinch myself that I'm here and I'm living my purpose. Really, this is not
mm,
me. This doesn't happen. A
mhm,
human being cannot. When you read the book, you'll understand. A human being cannot do it. This is the divine. Was I was guided throughout all this. So I'm going to go really fast and really just put the bullet point of the story so you
okay.
can have an idea, but there's
Mhm.
so much in between, of course. And that was, first of all, I was sexually abused at 7 years old by one of my brothers, and I had dyslexia. So I was held back at school year after year. That was the struggle of my beginning. Then, 1975, the Lebanese Civil War began, and my family wanted to flee to Egypt. And a week before the broke out the war completely, we never experienced war before. I was sitting in the living room with my older brother and hero Robert. That was my hero brother, and we were talking about the future and what you want to become and all that. And I told him I want to be a teacher one day because I want to make sure I don't put a child down because they couldn't read and write, and I want to help
Mhm.
them. And he said, I'm going to help you to become a teacher. And I promise you, I'll help you to go to college. And back then, women, didn't not many went to college.
Mhm.
So anyway, I was so happy with that conversation. And I said he needed to get his tea from the kitchen. I said, okay, the conversation's going to have to continue. I will get up and get, something actually pulled me up from my seat as I was talking to him. I said, okay, hold on. I'll go grab your tea.
Wow.
And I got up and to go to the kitchen to get this tea. I took several steps. And the third step, a bomb flew through the window to that living room
Wow.
and killed Robert in front of my eyes.
Mm.
And my mother was trying to throw herself from the window from the other room. My father he holding her. The bombs start coming one after another, and that was just the beginning of a long journey. But right after that, they had to put me and my brother in the mountain because we didn't have home. I lost my
Mhm.
mother mentally and emotionally, and they had to put us back in the mountain. But
Mhm.
but the amazing things happened. 3 days after this situation happened, we were in the neighbor's home. I was still shaking from the situation, seeing my brother and seeing my mom trying to throw
Mhm.
herself and the bombs and everything. And the country shut down. My father noticed me. I was crying and shaking in the corner. And he came to me and he came down and he's a very, very wise man, my father. He put his hand on my shoulder and said, what's going on? I said, I'm scared, Daddy. I'm scared. I was just shivering.
Mhm.
And he said, okay, look at me. I'm like, okay. And he said, look at my eyes. I looked and he said, do you see that white around my eyes? I said, yes. And he said, do you see that brown? Said yes, and he said, "Do you see that small people, the dark, that small?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Sometimes we have to go through darkness to see the light,"
Wow, that is profound. Wow.
and that really snapped me to think about what he's trying to say. And
Mhm.
he said, he tapped me. He said, "You know what? I know you're not going to understand that now, but one day you will."
Yeah. Yeah, wow.
And that was decades ago, right?
That is loaded. That is
Loaded.
loaded. Yeah, it
Yes.
really is loaded. Wow.
Very deep for 12-year-old, just lost her brother. So anyway, we went to
Yeah.
the mountain. They had to let me stay there.
Mm-hmm.
And the road cut off. Now, in the middle of the night, it was like a boarding school, rundown boarding school, but for
Mm-hmm.
safety to stay there. And in the middle of the night, I was getting up and seeing the bomb flying from one area to another. No phones, no Facebook back then, nothing like that. There is no connections. Even the regular phone line were uh, cut off. Food was cut
Aimmee,
off.
let
Electricity was, yeah,
let me ask you this. I don't intend to cut you off, but I want
sure.
to ask you this, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic in asking this, but take us
No.
back to when you witnessed those bombs, when you heard and saw these explosions. You were a child. What are you feeling during that time? What's going through your mind during that time? Did you have hope that you would survive this?
Well, I was, well, like I said, at that moment, what happened in my brother, is that what you're asking? You're going back to
Just,
that?
well,
Or,
just in general, because most people
yeah,
don't sur- don't live through wars nowadays.
yeah.
So,
Emotionally,
especially,
it's very hard.
yes. And so I'm just not talking about that isolated incident of your brother. You lived through a war. And so, yes, that explosion, but throughout, you saw bombs
Throughout.
and heard
You're
noises.
gonna get the answer.
Yeah.
You are going to
Okay.
get the answer.
Okay. Okay.
So in that mountain, we were cut off from food because the road cut off. Water, they were dropping where the water source comes
Mm-hmm.
to the mountain. Everything, and I had no conversation, not knowing what's happened to my family. I never thought I'd see them again, because with each bomb, it flew at night and dropping. I thought that's this that's my dad, that's my
Mm-hmm.
mom, that's my other brother, that's my sister. That's So it was really a scary time to be in the mountain, isolated from everything. And I was
Mm-hmm.
the only one who witnessed a bomb between all the children, and lost a brother at that time, because it was the beginning of the war. One of the first bomb came to our home. So
Mm-hmm.
we wouldn't get used to it. You never get used to it anyway, but not many people have been through it to even understand what it means. Anyway, and in that mountain, one night was a little bit harsher than other nights. I mean, you could hear the bombing, and every time you hear the bombing, my heart would just drop,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And the next day continued all day. We're feeling the smoke. I see the smoke in the air. I just like destroyed. The whole Beirut was destroyed. And, as a child, you see even things even bigger than what they are. They were, but then you're like really scared.
I
And you
see.
just went through it. You feel every sound of it. And my brother came to me crying, once his mom, when what my brother is coming to pick us up. Where's my mom? And I had to hold him. Then I lost him, and I saw him digging in the garbage to find food to eat.
Mm.
And I was in a really, really darkness, in a place that I was wearing I was wearing black just to respect my brother at 12. I wanted
Mm.
to respect him, because we were dark when we lose someone. And I didn't want to, have any conversation with the kids or anything. So I went. I was in the playground, and no one was there at that time. In the playground at that time, I sat on the bench, and it was a big tree behind me. I put my head on my back, and I looked up. I had nowhere but to look up.
Mm.
Okay, I looked up, and I cried my head off. I was sobbing from fear, from darkness, from emptiness. And I needed God to save me and help me. I surrendered. I surrendered 300%, if you want to say,
Mm.
because I had nothing, nowhere to go, nothing to do but surrender. Surrender to the divine and surrender to God. And I prayed, I said, Jesus, help me. Help me. I am scared. I'm lost. I don't know what to do. I'm never going to see my family.
Mm.
You know, so so at that moment, I felt silence around me. It was like shh, like this. And soon I saw a ball of like a snowball, like light around me,
Mhm.
surrounding me, and start to grow and protecting. I felt like lifted.
Wow.
That darkness in my heart was filled with light, filled with God's light. And I just was able to breathe because I wasn't even able to breathe. As that much I was like crying and asking for help and sobbing. Soon I was able to breathe.
Mhm.
And that small um, light started to come like this and then went into close to my heart and it just disappeared.
Mm.
That lifted me up. That's what helped me to go 13 years of the war,
Ooh. Wow.
escaping death. Then finally, I get with my family.
Mhm.
And long story, make it short, my mom, she wasn't the same. She was a different mom. She was naive in the first place. And now she was completely naive. She was completely gone emotionally, mentally. And she was
Mhm.
grabbing to any medication. You can imagine her son died, you
Mhm.
know, basically in the next room. And our life destroyed. She, you know, she left us in the mountain, and it was, you know, very harsh on her. And she was already not a strong woman, so it really took her
Yeah.
down.
Wow.
And when I reunited with my family, we had to go through the war again, escaping
Mhm.
death again, and long story make it short, 3 days after my 14th birthday, I was married for a better
Married.
life.
Woo.
Married.
Married.
3 days after my 14th birthday. Now I get married thinking I'm going to a better life because that's what mom said. You know how hard it is to go back to school. There is no opportunity for you. We have no money. How are
Mhm.
you going to survive? This is a better life for you. And you're not going to get better than this. So I get married not knowing that my ex-husband didn't tell his parents about our marriage. So I went to a family, they did not want me there.
Okay.
Now I felt my mom couldn't raise me. They didn't want me there. So I was married and lived with 8 people. It was like strange. And 15, I got a baby, beautiful baby girl.
Mm.
At 16, I got a boy, but he lived only 24 hours because with not nurturing myself
Mhm.
and going through the stress of marriage. And soon, it was a really long story over there. Um, I had to come back to my family because my husband couldn't handle the life of marriage. He left the United States, and I had to go back to my family where they couldn't help me in the first place. But now I had a daughter to raise.
Mm.
In between all these years, lost family members, escaped death. Um, you know, I was bullied as a child because I couldn't read and write. I was bullied as a teenager because I was a single mother, and
Mhm.
that was unacceptable in my culture. And I was looked at as a loser, as someone had no hope, no opportunities, and I was lost. But the only thing kept me going is the light, the guidance that I received. I had that guidance within my heart at every moment. And at some moments, I start to lose that light, but then I wake myself back up. I call the enemy tried to get in me
Mm-hmm.
somehow. And I didn't allow the enemy. I knew I'm not going to allow that.
Mm.
And
Wow.
13 years
Yeah.
lived, and I came to United States
Yes.
for a better life.
So pause here. So usually for listeners who um tune in every week, listeners, you may have noticed that I let Aimmee elaborate. Usually I'll ask a lot more questions by now, but I thought it was important because the history is so important to get to where you are now, and your story itself is so remarkable and so captivating because of so much that happened alone before the age of 15.
Mhm.
And that is absolutely astonishing and miraculous. And what happens is where we are going to pick up now is that you did eventually come to the United States, but even there in the US when you came, you didn't know English and you really struggled and had challenges financially. And so things were really tough for you. And how did you manage to not only survive, but also thrive once you got into the States? And then eventually you met and you married someone else, your husband now,
Mhm.
who really helped you to see even something in yourself that you didn't initially see. So, how did all of that influence your journey and success?
Oh, again, I think I was guided because when I came to the United States was a different challenge,
Mm-hmm.
a totally different challenge that I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
I wasn't used to being in a country I didn't speak the language at all. Like I didn't speak at all.
Mm.
I didn't read or write the language either. Because some people know how to read and write, but they can't speak it.
Uh-huh.
Yep. And I had less than $200 in my pocket, 10-year-old raise, and people were telling me, "We'll buy you a ticket, go back, because you won't make it here."
Wow.
But I believed in my heart that I was guided to come here for a reason, and I didn't. My ears were not listening what other people were saying. I knew in my heart, this is my destiny. I'm supposed to be here. And I'm not supposed to take in my daughter to go live in the war and more than what she already experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And I focused on my belief. I focused on the guidance from God. And I took one step at a time, one breath at a time, 1 second at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 year at a time, until I met my husband, which was he's 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 an angel.
Mm.
He wasn't a rich guy to say, well, okay, he helped her to get to where she is, but he gave me more. He
That's right.
gave me he gave me something that no one can give you. He gave me the confidence. He was an angel. He gave me the confidence and he sat back and watched me and watched me. And I watched God guiding me. And it was so amazing to coming from no self-esteem, no confidence, no education, nothing. But then seeing and witnessing myself blossoming here after didn't have a hope to even stay in this country because I didn't come as a refugee. And that's what that's what confirmed to me that I have something bigger to give.
Mm-hmm.
I have something, I have a responsibility. God saved my life. I was guided to come here against many odds. I stayed against many odds because of the guidance I received.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew how powerful that was. See, in my heart, I knew how powerful that was. And having a husband who allowed me to be and watched me to do whatever I want to do, even if when I told him I'm going to write my book, he said, I know you're running a business, but writing a book, it's another thing.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to do that? I said, I know why. And that's all I need. The how will
Mm-hmm.
appear.
And in terms of you saying that your husband gave you the confidence, I didn't share, but he gave you confidence in so many ways, including becoming an entrepreneur. So share with us, what was that business venture that you first sought out once your husband told you, "Hey, I think you'd be a great entrepreneur."
Yeah, I started I did some my other brother lives in Saudi Arabia, so I did some transition, bought some product from China,
Oh.
and actually they shipped it to Saudi Arabia, and that blew my husband mind. Is like, wow, you can do something like this.
Uh-huh.
And I did it all by myself, and he was sitting down and watching me. And
Wow.
he's like, I can't believe you're doing this. Then we started with telecommunications,
Mhm.
and which back then it was phone cards that you call,
Oh,
and
yes.
I became a big distributors, and of
Oh,
course my husband helped me with it, but I he came up with the idea, but then I took that idea and I ran with it,
wow.
and
I
I was
remember
able
those.
to, yeah, and he
Yeah.
was able to actually leave his job after I ran with it, and
Wow.
then I just built it, and then he took over a little bit, then we started working together,
Mhm.
and we were one of the first ones to start that telecommunications in Las Vegas in Nevada.
Mhm.
And we did very well. Then I opened another store, like UPS store, and I did those kind of things. But everything I built from the scratch, because
Mhm.
I'm not used to following direction. As you know, I'm not good at school. I'm not good in following directions. So I'm
Mhm.
good at starting something from nothing.
Mhm.
That's where my vision is. And later on, actually, I learned dyslexia. We think in three different dimensions. But then one day I was driving down on the freeway coming from a business meeting, and it went very well. I mean, I was running the whole thing.
Mm.
My husband, he watched me and was so enjoying seeing me, how I negotiated. I mean that I did a lot of things behind the scene.
Mhm.
I learned how to use programs. I learned how to do computer and all that with fourth grade education.
Mm.
And I was able to thrive. Then the business went down a little bit because the communication shut down, and then I start different business, and I start to sell uh, to gift stores a lot of
Yes.
things, and I just find my way all the time. And this is where when I was driving on the freeway, and I just couldn't believe I was driving a brand new car, running a business, I have a
Mhm.
house, and all that stuff. At that time, I was like, wow, this is me. But then I'm forgetting where I came from.
Mhm.
And my inner voice told me, it's the time, this is the time to tell your story and inspire others. I'm like, okay, but how would I do that? I'm a very
Exactly.
private person. It's just telling people about my life is just not acceptable for me. I'm a very private
Wow.
person. But then the inner voice just didn't go away. Something told me I have to do it. So I did.
Mm.
However, I was still, I knew why. I knew why from the day that I was told to write my book.
Mhm.
But it took me years to actually live it. You see,
Yes, I do.
actually understand it and live it.
Mm,
And that to open up, and then accept that I have been given a big responsibility.
mm,
I just couldn't accept it because I'm like, who am I to carry a big message?
mm.
I
Who
could
are
not
you? Oh
accept
my,
that.
wow. It's just amazing to me how you didn't necessarily see the effect that it would have on people, but it's so remarkable.
Yes, and I just couldn't accept it. I just wouldn't accept that. Okay, so what? I came
Mm,
to say I'm here. I have a business, and I'm doing seminars now. So I wanted to go away from my book. I
mm-hmm.
keep pushing my book away. I kept pushing my book away. So I started seminars. I was changing people's lives, and people walk away. They're just so happy. I
Yeah.
receive testimonies, everything like how, and then I start doing coaching. So I ignored what really, really I meant to do with this
Mm-hmm.
book. I didn't want to show it to people because I was embarrassed. I did not want, like everybody, when they tell me, oh, we read your book or something like this, I'm like,
Mhm.
please go away. I
Yeah.
refused it. Does that make
And
sense?
yes, it does. And audience, the book is called Tears of Hope. And that title alone speaks volumes. And so, Aimmee, when you wrote Tears of Hope and when you published it, what was or is, what do you hope that readers will get from it and will walk away from gaining in it?
To give them hope.
Mm,
Because I saw at that time, I was told to write the book, which
mhm.
is from the divine. And
Yes.
then I was seeing people are not happy. I seeing people are struggling. And I wanted to show them, you're not the only one struggling. We
Mhm,
all have different struggles. And I wanted to introduce them to the struggles that we go through in the war,
mhm,
and what happened to children, what happened to mothers, what happened to people when they lose everything,
mhm,
and living, not knowing if you could live 1 second to the next. You can finish your meal at times. You can take
mhm,
a shower knowing that the bomb's starting. You have to run out. And in the middle of the night, you have to get up. That's not happy.
mhm,
that is a life that, but that's what I thought. I thought that's the only thing that I needed to do,
mhm,
even though I kind of deep inside of my soul, I knew there is something even bigger than that. But like I said, it took me years to even accept it,
yes.
that I could do it. So the first book, I wrote it with the ghostwriter. Then I said, okay, I needed to slow it down a little bit because maybe it's too hard. So I did do some changes a little bit because I didn't actually write it. I was told the story and somebody else wrote it. So there is some information, maybe it's not, because my English wasn't that great at that time.
Mhm, mhm.
So I had to grow with my book. But every time I wanted to put my book away, it comes back. Every time I put it
Wow.
away, it comes back. Then I started to do a TV show. I have online magazine, created magazine from
Yes.
nothing. Now it's
Empowering
international
humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, empowering humanity. We will give
magazine.
you all of that info later on, but that is her
Mhm.
magazine, TV show,
TV show,
and
online
yes,
classes. Yeah.
yes,
So I
and
thought,
that.
okay,
Mhm.
this is
Go
my
ahead.
job, is to lift the consciousness in the world,
Mhm.
right? By
Yes.
contributing my small part through education, inspiration, life transformation platform,
Hmm.
right? So I thought this is my mission, which is part of my mission, is to lift the consciousness so we could have less war. I, I thought, okay, I could give something back, just even if it's something small, which is through education, inspiration, life transformation. I could help people feel better, so we can have better world, we can have more happiness, we can have more joy. Families, they can have a better communications with each other, they have a financial freedom, etc.
And so, Aimmee, while all of that is absolutely visionary, how exactly does empowering humanity in terms of the programs, in terms of the courses, the collaboration with others, exactly how does it promote harmony, peace, transformation? How does it do that?
Okay, well, all of my guests throughout the years, I gained a lot of connections with
Mhm.
amazing teachers, right? And transformation comes from education, right?
Mhm.
Some inspiration stories. You could read inspiration story through the magazine. You could read how to start a business. You could read how to unleash your potential. You could read how to have a better communications with your children, how to make a difference in the world.
Mhm.
The how, you learn the how, and then this way will be, if you're stuck somewhere, that's it will help you to get unstuck, because you
Mhm.
read one article, you could be inspired, you could learn techniques, you could learn other people's wisdom and knowledge to help you see your life and your situation in different perspective, right? And if you were my contributors share their knowledge, wisdom, and insights, they are helping others when
Mhm.
they read their insights. And that's how I believe I'm doing it. My magazine is not about gossiping. It's not about fames. It's
That's
not
right.
about somebody's who's dressing what. It's which is all good.
Mhm.
But my magazine focuses, and my TV show and the online classes bring some of the top experts in their field to help people learn how to do what they want to do.
Mhm.
We teach technology, we teach security, we share inspiring stories. There is there is something about this platform. It's built from the perspective of helping others see light through darkness.
Oh, and in seeing light through darkness, because I shared offline some of my journey, is that when people, anyone experiences adversity and trauma, there is a dark period. Even when we have our faith, even when we're strong or trusting God, there's still darkness that can hover. But once we learn how to break through it, that's when the real change occurs. So, what role, Aimmee, did forgiveness and love combined? What roles did they play in your healing journey, which led you to this? Because it's difficult for a person to do this type of work without going through some type of healing process. And healing doesn't mean that the pain still might not be there occasionally, but what role did forgiveness and love play in all of this?
Okay, I believe you are a great interviewer, I tell you.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I appreciate that.
You're a
Thank
great
you.
interviewer, and
Thank
thank
you.
you for those questions, because
Mhm.
I believe those questions are very valuable to the listeners. Hopefully, they walk away with something from
Yeah.
this. I believe love is the most powerful energy there is,
Mm.
and by living with love, by having love and giving. Not necessarily you have to give your money. Sometimes you can give your knowledge and wisdom, and you can give somebody love and understanding and compassion, and you judge less.
Hmm.
So I think having love complete in my heart helped me to see things differently,
Mm.
understand people, Have compassion for them. As you read the book, I tell you, in with each one of those obstacles, there is hope in the end,
Mm-hmm.
and then there is solution after the darkness, and there is light after that. And you're gonna have to understand. I went to the darkest of the darkest of the darkest time of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, a lot of people went through darkness, but they understand what it means when you're going to the bottom of it. And by surrendering completely
Mm.
and learn how to surrender throughout my life, I saw the light.
Yes. Yes.
So what helped me is my love to God and the surrendering and the understanding I am everything and I'm nothing.
Mm.
I'm everything to God, but
Mm.
I'm nothing as a human being. I'm everything to Him. And then when you give that, when you understand the power of that, when you
Mm-hmm.
understand you're everything to God, and then you love, you see the light.
Mm. Wow. That is profound. And if there's anybody out there who is struggling in that area where you are hearing Aimmee and saying, I don't know how she could love after all of that which happened, I'm telling you, even from myself, is that sometimes harboring, I'll speak for myself, it is that harboring bitterness, anger, and resentment is just like swallowing poison,
Mm-hmm.
but yet expecting the people that you're angry with, expecting them to die, but I'm the one drinking it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not a good feeling. And it can keep a person stuck in the midst of all of this. And so,
Absolutely.
therefore, resilience, determination, and fortitude are just all around you. And so, even now, as you have worked towards and God has given you so much success, even beyond simply monetarily, what keeps you going and moving forward every day to be determined to continue this work?
Fear.
Mm, mm,
Fear of leaving this earth before I can commit and finish my journey.
ooh,
Fear.
ooh. You have no choice but to do it.
Exactly. I'm
Wow.
afraid every day
Mm-hmm.
before I go that I don't continue my mission
Mm,
all the way as long as I could take it.
mm.
And my husband, he tells me sometimes, he tells me, I don't know how you do it.
Yeah.
He said, I don't have words on how you do it. And this is another book you need to write on how you do this. I tell
Mm-hmm.
him I'm not doing it.
Mm.
That's the key.
Yeah.
I'm surrendering.
Mm-hmm.
See, I learned how to surrender. And when you surrender, you're no longer driving your car. You're no longer driving your life.
Mm.
You no longer have to worry. You just don't worry. It comes and goes as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And you're talking about resentment. In my book, I was blessed even before I was born because I'm supposed to be gone before I even came to this earth.
Mm-hmm.
So then God saved my life there. After that, He sent me angels and then the enemy, I call the enemy,
Yes.
tried to break me. But guess what? My father was my angel. He taught me things as a child. I write this in the book. He taught me, he gave me his wisdom. was guided by God. He was talking about resentment poisons your body, your spirit, and your mind. And every time I had resentment, because I'm a human being, every time I had resentment, maybe against my mom or my brother who was sexually abusing me, I remembered the whisper of my father: resentment poisons your body, your spirit, and your mind.
That's right.
Okay. So throughout the years, I had angels and I had the enemy try to fight me, to break me down. But knowing this is what's happening, when you are aware of something, if you're driving a car and then you know there is a hole in the car in the road coming up, you know, you could see it. It's very clear to you that this is gonna, you have to switch, you have to go away from it so you don't dive in it, right? When you're driving. I was so aware and always awake of the enemy. And that's something I'm so proud to share in the last version of the book, because I opened up. Before in my book, I did not talk about it because I did not want to share deeper relationship with God and the divine and Jesus. And I did not want to share that. I wanted to keep it just personally for me, my relationship, selfishly. And because I look at God different, I understand God differently because I've built relationships since I was a child, right? Without reading the Bible. I didn't need to read the Bible. I mean, it's good to read the Bible. I'm not saying don't read the Bible, you don't need it. But personally, I didn't, because I had that relationship. I already felt and knew what's right, what's wrong, and what he wanted me to do. So following that, what saved my life, and recognizing the angels in your life and recognizing the enemy. And when you really know how to balance those two, you become more alert not to allow yourself to poison yourself, because you're God's child.
That's right.
When you poison yourself, you're poisoning God, right? And why I talk about love, because I discovered since when I was a child, I told my father when we were having conversations, I said, so God is love. He said, yes, you got it. I said, so if he said we are born in his image, that means when we experience love, we are experiencing hint of God. And that is something so powerful, to experience God through love. You know, we're experiencing glimpse of him because we're part of him. We're not all of us.
That's right.
Because we're part of him. And but what part? What part of him we are? The part of love. And when you feel love, the whole universe opens up. You feel like you could do the impossible. You could, if you can't read or write, you could write a book. The last version of the book, I wrote it. I used technology. I wrote it completely.
That's right. That's right.
I didn't write it though. I felt God was writing it with me and through me. And
you
I
speak
finally
yes.
living my purpose today.
Yes. How can people get the book Tears of Hope, and how can they learn more about empowering humanity?
Well, Tears of Hope turned out to be movement now. I'm so proud to say, and we have an anthem based on the book. Over 70 musicians played the music, and Grammy winners, they mixed it.
Yes.
The blessing was in it. So you can go to tearsofhopemovement.com or empoweringhumanitystv.com. You can go to tearsofhopebook.com, tearsofhopemovement.com, tearsofhopeanthem.com, and you'll find me. You'll find what we're doing now with this movement.
Yes.
That's another episode.
Of course, yes. Exactly. Exactly. And I am not opposed to having you on again because there is transformation even in that entire movement. But as a closing question, Aimmee, what would you say to a person who's listening that may be facing overwhelming adversity right now and overwhelming struggles and are simply being challenged in finding hope in that situation? What is a tidbit of wisdom or a nugget of wisdom, so as to speak, that you would give them?
When you're going through something very powerful and profound that you can see to get out, it's because it's getting you closer to God. It's because it's helping you surrender. Because we have an ego, we have a brain that guide us. If you understand this is happening for me, this is happening to allow me to surrender and see the light through this, you will see the light. I guarantee you that.
Mm.
Because in every situation I surrendered to whatever happening, I understood I was pushed to surrender again.
Mm-hmm.
And learning how to surrender your worries, the darkness, the bitterness will disappear. Surrender.
Aimmee, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for gracing us today, letting us know how we can get the book, how we can learn even more about you and your movement. I will also have all of that info in the show notes. But just in the short time that we've gotten to know each other, you have definitely enhanced my life, and I am so honored and grateful to have met you. We're definitely going to be keeping in touch, but I say from the bottom of my heart, God bless you. We need more people like you doing similar work to give people hope and continue to be the epitome of what love is. And again, thank you for your time and for being on the Power Transformation Podcast.
Well, I more than thank you for being who you are and what you're doing. It's just amazing. And it is my honor to be on your show and meet that beautiful soul you have. Thank you for having me.
I am so thankful for Aimmee for just blessing us today with her life story and the things that she does for so many people. Aimmee is one person that you want to connect with. So, as she shared how you can follow her, do so. Please follow and subscribe to her online magazine, which is absolutely amazing. And stay tuned because coming up soon, you may very well just see a contribution in there from a podcast host that you know. So that's all I'll say about that. But that'll be coming up soon. But Aimmee, I know she's listening to this. I am so grateful to know you. And I look forward to future collaborations and so much more. Y'all, don't forget every Wednesday, a new episode of the Power Transformation Podcast is dropped. So share this episode, follow and subscribe, give a 5-star rating, and leave a review. And let's go ahead and close out with this affirmation. Say it like you mean it. I am confident in my beliefs, courageous in my actions, and brave in my heart. If you enjoyed today's show, then you don't want to miss an episode. So follow the Power Transformation Podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you usually listen, and remember to rate and review. I also invite you to connect with me on social media at Alethea Felton. That's at ALETHEAFELTON. Until next time, remember to be good to yourself and to others.